Earlier this year, the association began NAGLREP Success, a podcast series featuring the talents of LGBT real estate agents and allies who inspire the LGBT community. With us today is the host of NAGLREP Success. He is the founder of Imagine Productions and is a consultant to NAGLREP. He has won numerous awards, including those from PR News and the Public Relations Society of America. Prior to his current role, he served as VP of North American Communications for Coldwell Banker. Please welcome David Cerrone. Get it, David. Also here to join us is the president of the founder of the Malibu Life, Inc. He is one of the most recognizable faces in the world of real estate because he's been on the television. You might know him as the original cast member of Bravo TV's hit reality show, $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, or as a contributing host on E! News. But he's also an acclaimed public speaker and author of the book, Activate Your Passion, Create Your Career. I told you it was a long intro, Madison, so sit tight. Go out and get a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette. Whether it's gardening, traveling, or hiking with his rescue Dobermans, Maya and Mr. Prince, that's adorable, he lives by his philosophies, spread the love, you can mix business with pleasure, and his most important mantra of be a blessing, then be blessed. Please welcome my friend, my lover, my reason for living, Madison Hildebrand.
Thank you, Alec. And just so you know, this face was made for podcasts. This is Jeff's idea to give me the public forum to talk to Madison. And I've been fortunate enough to know Madison for a long, long time. And let's get right to it. Because you're a top agent. You are one of the original Bravo celebrities.
Yes.
Everywhere you go, everyone knows you.
Yes.
Gotta start with what the heck are you doing with a candle line?
I have a candle line. That's what he's asking me. Why would I start with a candle line? It's marketing. It's all about marketing. I liked what she was saying earlier. You're collecting people, but I'm also brand stamping every property I go into. So if I get a call for a listing, if I have a friend, if I have a dinner party, this is the perfect gift that I created myself that has the Malibu Life logo and a seashell on it. Named one vanilla nectar, one vanilla earth, and I could take 1 cent or 2 cents in nice packaging, had my website on it, and I littered Malibu with my candles. And that was the goal, was just to be seen, have a shelf life, smell good, and have people think that Madison is in my face again. There he is, again. I don't want to be forgotten.
Now, you're known as Mr. Malibu, Mr. LA, but you weren't originally from there, right?
No, definitely not. I was born in Mesa. This is a journey. I was born in Mesa, Arizona. I moved to Connecticut, moved to Austin, Texas. Anyone from Austin? I've met a few Austinites earlier. Then to San Diego, then to Dallas, then to Connecticut again for high school. Then I graduated and went to Pepperdine University. And that is why I ended up in Malibu.
Okay, so at the time, Connecticut to Pepperdine.
That's right.
Why?
Well, I really wanted to study advertising. That was a passion of mine. I was fortunate enough to know I had a passion in high school, and I wanted to pursue that in college. And they were one of the few, really at the time, one of the few universities that offered a advertising degree. It was either that or UMich. And I looked at the photo of Pepperdine and was like, oh, hell no, UMich. I'm going to the sunshine. And that was it.
So you were on campus at Michigan at the time?
No, I was out in high school in Connecticut looking at the schools that set up for college day.
Okay.
And they had, I knew which ones had a degree in advertising, but when they set up their trifold, poster size campus in Malibu, I just was like, but my mom said, it's really religious. Are you sure you want to go there? And I said, Mom, there's 3,000 kids under one roof. I'll be fine.
Right. What was your reaction when you got to campus and saw how beautiful it was?
This is heaven. I made the right choice.
And you never, ever left, did you?
I didn't leave. I started to immerse myself in the community well before I knew I was going to be a realtor. And those relationships that I started developing at the salon, at the dog groomer, at the people's families I worked for, at restaurants, hotels. Those were my key, really, network. That was my immediate sphere of influence, which consisted of about 20 when I graduated and wanted to get into real estate. But they knew I worked hard, they knew I was accountable, and they knew my reputation. So it really did carry well into
What was the
real estate.
switchover from advertising to real estate? That just isn't a normal
The paycheck.
transition. Paycheck.
They wanted 13 hours a day in advertising and pay me $35,000 a year, or I could sell one house in Malibu and make $35,000 in one
So
pop.
what's so cool is Madison is one of the 4% of all realtors that this has been your first career. You haven't had,
Yes.
outside of TV, which is almost a hobby in a way, the real
That's
estate,
work.
yeah, it's work. But the real estate thing, you went right into it, and your first client was quasi-celebrity. Is that fair?
That's fair, yeah. I mean, it depends on what audience she has, but she actually was, I was working at a hotel. This tells you, my philosophy with real estate, and I was sharing with someone, I got to talk to a lot of you, which is really cool, and everyone's been great. So if you haven't had a chance, I hope to meet you while I'm here over the next couple days, well, day and a half. But I just believed in my heart when I got into real estate that it didn't matter how young I was or what I knew or where I was from, or if I liked to stay up all night and work, or if I liked to sleep all day. There's another group of people that operate the same way I do. I just have to know how to tap into that niche. So everyone has a house over their head, or we're all blessed that we do. So everyone I talk to essentially is a prospect. So everywhere I go, that's a prospect. If I make contact at Starbucks, if I make contact with someone somewhere, there's a reason for me to make contact with them, and therefore to follow up and to follow up. And organically, it may take a year, but organically, a relationship might develop, and then ultimately that may lead to real estate. And that's what happened. I was working at this hotel called the Malibu Beach Inn Hotel, and the owners of the hotel have then since sold it to David Geffen, who then sold it again. And they became first clients of mine, but this woman was living in the hotel for a year with her 8-year-old son because they had mold in their house in Malibu, in her $13 million house, so she didn't want to go back to that. So I went out and got my real estate license, and I found out she was still living in the hotel, and they called and said, "Can you please get her out of here?" That's kind of how it went down, because she was really high maintenance. Go figure, my first client was really, really high maintenance. But she is a widow, and her life was kind of turned upside down when I took her in as a client, and she was dealing with a lot. So she's become a much stronger person. But it's George C. Scott, his widow, Trish Vanderveer, who's a famous actress, and mainly in theatricals. But yes, she was a handful, but I sold her about $10 million in total real estate, and she's in her house now.
So you think about, here you are, a kid out of Pepperdine.
Yeah.
You go into real estate, you're working in a hotel trying to figure it out, and all of a sudden you get a high-profile, high-maintenance client.
Which no other realtor would work with. She had seen every property in Malibu, and every realtor goes, "You can't sell her a house, she won't buy." I was like, "She's living in a hotel, she's gonna buy a house."
And it's not like you waltzed into the most easygoing real estate industry, because Malibu is pretty intense, pretty high-powered.
Yep.
How did you survive that as a young agent?
I was told you can't be successful in Malibu. You're not from Malibu. Malibu is very protective of Malibu. So that was obstacle number one, and that was pretty easy. It was kind of like one of these, you know? It's like, okay, you naysayers, you naysay, I'm just gonna keep looking forward. And the more you say no, it, for me, fuels me to say and prove you wrong. And that was kind of the attitude I have and had. And it was challenging, but I guess I was too naive to understand how difficult this was going to be. And that really was kind of...
And you were on your own at that point, right?
I was on my own at that point, yes, and making my own every life decision. And it just was one of those things that I was determined to be successful, no matter what I did, but real estate is what I was going to do. And I just worked those clients, and I worked, my license took 10 months to come in the mail. It's back before, it was when the boom happened before the recession. So the whole state of California was trying to become a realtor. So my license was caught somewhere between somewhere in a stack of papers. Well, that gave me, it was really a blessing because that gave me 10 months to plan my marketing and advertising curriculum for myself. So I put together all my academics that I learned in school, and I actually used those books. And then I put together and I started ordering the mailers and branding and developing my website. And I had something for every month that was going to hit my sphere of influence, that was going to get opened, that was going to be impactful. For example, I bought, everything was blue, because I joined up with Coldwell Banker at the time, and I lived in Malibu, so it was blue. And I wasn't selling Madison, I was selling the Malibu life, because I knew I could sell the Malibu lifestyle, and people would buy that. They didn't need to buy Madison. Madison wasn't anybody, and he still isn't anybody when you come down to it. They're buying Malibu, and that's what I wanted to sell. So I bought the domain, themalibolife.com, and at Madison Malibu is my Twitter and my Instagram, and everything became Madison and Malibu synonymous with the Malibu life. And then I ordered these great mouse pads, and I had my brother, who was a photographer, take an iconic photo of the Malibu pier at sundown, and all I did was put themalibolife.com and put it in blue cellophane and mailed it out with no company logo, nothing else. So I sent that out. It was about $2.80 per mailer. But every single person, because I watched it on Google Analytics, went to my website not once, not twice, but over and over again. And then I had blue cellophane packaging that announced my first listing. I had a blue roller tube that was obnoxious, that they were like, what is in this tube? They pulled it out. It was, I'm welcome Madison to real estate. I don't care. I don't want to sell your house. All I want to do is answer a question for you about real estate. Did your neighbor's house sell? Call me. I'll tell you how much it was for. And I got accurate information in a timely manner. And with that, my young age, I couldn't grow facial hair for the life of me. I wore fake glasses, so I looked older. I wore nice clothes, but not too nice, because Malibu is a beach community. I bought the most expensive car I could afford, and I walked talked the talk and walked the walk until I...
Were you in that LA kind of celebrity world at that younger age?
No, I really wasn't. I came from Connecticut, and I was studying school at Pepperdine, and I just was a regular Joe that was friendly and liked people and liked Malibu. And I didn't have the family connections. I didn't have the Hollywood connections. I wasn't in the industry in any way. So this was just good, hard work, people.
Yeah, and all the other agents around you were in that celebrity world.
I'm competing with, Malibu does host for years the #1 agent in the world for Coldwell Banker. Imagine, little tiny Malibu sells more real estate for one agent than any other agent in the whole world for Coldwell Banker. And that was eventually my mentor, but that was who I was competing against. It was that caliber of agent. And my first deal was having to negotiate against him. I was like, oh shit, this is all not working now. So I had to retract, go to my dad, go to my manager, and say, now we're negotiating against my mentor. I think I need a little help.
And this is Chris Cortazzo he's talking about. Did you beat him?
Well, you when my client got the house for a very fair price, and we resold it later, and she made money. So I think it's a happy ending to a good story.
So all of you know Madison from real estate, right? From what he does in Malibu, going house to house, client to client. Is that how people know you?
Maybe, probably.
Does anyone watch this show? What is it called? $1 Million?
$1 Million List in Los Angeles.
So to me, I've known Madison for a while, and for me, I get to pick up the phone. 8 years,
just so you know.
I can just pick up the phone and call him, and you think about that term, Bravo Celebrity. This is it. He's a real estate guy turned into somebody that we see him and we know him, and he's still the same guy, which is pretty cool, and congratulations for that. Let's talk about...
Thank you.
Yeah. How did this whole TV thing started? You're probably one of the few that went to LA without thinking celebrity, movies, TV. You went
Right.
to be in advertising.
Right.
So how did you actually turn into the exact thing that you didn't plan to be?
I get asked that question a lot, and it's a totally valid question. And I don't know how many of you all saw season 1. We're now on season 10. But season 1, there were 12 of us agents. 6 from Hollywood, 6 from Malibu. So the owners of the production company that were producing the show specifically casted Hollywood and Malibu, and they went out to Malibu and they looked through the magazines, and they just started calling every single agent that had a face. And they came to my office, and we did a little chat, and then they said, tomorrow can you come in and film on camera? And I did that, and then they said, well, do you have a listing we could film? And then I did that, and it was supposed to be done. And then halfway through filming that season, they said, do you have another listing? We want to film with you again. I said, okay, I guess it can't hurt business. So I did that. And then Coldwell Banker pulled the rug out when the show aired from everyone. Said, nobody on Coldwell Banker is doing the show. This is bad. It's showing commissions. This is going to be terrible. And so I was still at Coldwell Banker. So obviously I negotiated my way on. Every other agent did leave, and they recasted it to be a different show. It was now just 3 of us.
And back then, the show was, you could almost understand their nervousness because this reality TV thing was in its infancy.
Totally, yeah. I mean, we were only on MySpace and Facebook, and I think there was one Real Housewives just starting, and then there was the Real World, Big Brother, and very few reality shows were happening. So we were just, as America, we were just getting used to it. I was scared of it myself. I signed my life away on that contract.
And you really had to bust your butt for TV. It wasn't just show up, film, and go, was it?
No, it wasn't. And the crew did not know what they were doing. None of them had ever bought a house. So the producers really did not know what went before what. And when they were asking, I'm like, no, you can't film that. Or it just was very messy.
Was there a moment in that season 1 that you said, I like this, or I'm going to stick it out and see where it goes, or did the phone start ringing for business?
Oh, the
what
phone
let
started
you
ringing.
start to keep going?
I mean, okay, so the phone started ringing because I made the mistake of having my cell phone because I'm a realtor. I had my cell phone publicized. Who knew? Well, social media was not an outlet for people, but obviously, if they could reach you or come to your office, they can get a hold of you. As a realtor, you want to be gotten a hold of. You want to be made available. I learned kind of quickly my cell phone was a little too personal, and the calls I was getting were a little inappropriate too often. They were looking for other real estate. So those Good Morning Blue Eyes every morning at 8 a.m. from a blocked number started getting really creepy. And that's when I took my cell phone down and realized I have to set up a different game plan. And thank God for social media. But yeah, it did get interesting. But it also, it didn't really produce clients in the beginning. People still kind of shamed it. And they were still thinking, like the Osbournes are on reality TV, like exploiting their life. This is dangerous. And my parents absolutely hated it. They despised my decision to be on TV. So I was going against a lot of forces. And also, now that I'm speaking to I'm going to say it wrong, NAGLREP, there we go. We had a debate last night. But I think I was going through my own really personal tough time because I had been exploring my sexuality in my late teens and through college. And I had a girlfriend at the time when I was filming the first season, which it was just business. It wasn't our personal lives. The second and third season started to get into your personal life. But after the first season aired, I was terrified that somebody that I had hooked up with secretly was going to contact my family or come out on some media outlet and call me out before I was ready to figure out what my journey was going to be. And if you watched the seasons over the time, you saw that I did struggle with my journey, and I did go through a period of wanting to be in the mix of both, because I didn't know emotionally where I stood and physically what I was attracted to. It was a both. And America didn't like that. The gay community didn't like that.
The real estate community didn't like
The
that you
real
were
estate
showing
community didn't like that I didn't know who I
secrets.
was.
Right, and the secrets of giving away some of what the magic is that everybody does. I know people were not thrilled with that. And then I personally saw this thing happening because back then, Madison, this is no lie, would wake up, take a picture and say good morning, and I swear to God, 700 people liked it. And it was just ridiculous. Here we were, Coldwell Banker as a brand, trying to get people to engage with us, and this guy saying good morning and half the world likes it. So clearly he had something going on with this TV thing. But most people don't know one of the big opportunities that you had along with the show was e-news.
So yeah, I mean, the show produces a lot of opportunities, and now I think it's so mainstream that it is great for business, number one. It's fantastic if you parlay it well, and you know, what you say out loud on TV is memorialized forever. So you do have to be you, but at the same time, if they don't like you, then it can hurt your business, of course. But I think it just in general, the whole concept was and is still scary to be so public with it.
Right, and so E! News, Madison was on, he hosted a real estate segment that was extremely popular.
It was, and it was outside of my expertise. I went into celebrities' homes and I walked you guys through the celebrities' homes. I don't watch movies, I don't do TV. I have met Pink, the singer, and I've called her purple. Like, that's literally how bad I am. And so I have to it was like research every time I had to go do one of these things, because I had no idea how famous these people were. But it was really cool. I got to see some amazing real estate. Again, that sort of backfired. At some point in my career, people didn't want their realtor to be telling their celebrity real estate was on TV. So it just started not working that way either. It's a confidential business, especially in the luxury. So I kind of walked away from that as well.
So I know you get this question all the time. Give us some dirt about the show that for those who are huge fans, what's it really like?
It is a lot of work. We film for 10 months. We start usually January, February. I'm still filming. I'm on my last week. It's about 8-hour day. You can't interrupt yourself with phone calls and things because you're there with a client or someone filming. And for the most part, that's okay. It's the all cast, when that means everyone's together filming. That's when it gets really dramatic, and that's when glasses are flying, and it's not my scene, but it's part of the show. It's not scripted. People always ask me if it's scripted. It's not. What it is they're so afraid of getting sued, and they have been. So every location is private property. Every person is private. So therefore, you have to sign and sign and sign. So when you walk into a room, you know pretty much everyone who's going to be there, and you know that the person who owns the building or home is signed off. So you know what you're walking into when you're walking into it, and that's about it.
Okay. Anybody like that answer? Is it
Well,
real, or is it?
It's also 44 minutes, and this year, season 10 is airing November 2nd. There's 5 of us on TV. But even when there was 3 of us, it's hard to get the storylines all out there. So I do feel bad because a lot of people get into the industry thinking, oh my gosh, look at these guys making this money. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And we all know it is not like that at all. But to make TV interesting and to make me interesting, they cut it really short and quick, and they take the best parts and they leave out anything that is important.
So you know all those, the 1.2 million agents that are out there, about 800,000 of them joined because of Madison, because it looked like so much fun, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on your real estate side, you went from a single agent to you decided to have a team.
Yes.
Why? What was the reason for that?
The team, well, the Malibu Life, as I explained earlier, .com was always my brand. That was always what I stood behind on day one. And I had an assistant, which then I couldn't afford one, so I got a college intern from Pepperdine. And that's a great resource if you live next to a college, is have a communications or marketing student be your assistant. But that's how my team started, because I knew I liked certain things, and I knew I was good at certain things, and I knew I needed to delegate other things, and I knew the company could do certain things for me. And as the lady said earlier, and we hear it all the time, work smarter, not harder. And most of us are type A, which I think means you have to learn to delegate and trust that somebody else can do it better than you. And until you can teach yourself that, you're not going to grow your business. You're going to keep it all on your own shoulders. And I, frankly, I can't do it all, especially with filming the TV show. My business would collapse. So I had to build a team, and I have a partner. My team is a total of 10, including me. So I have a partner, and she's pretty much a silent partner, but she's the spine of my business, and I'm the funnel. And then we have the IT person, we have the marketing person, we have 5 agents that work with the clients. One of those are just the client management and database management.
Any quick tips for them on running a team, how to make it really hum?
I mean, running a team is finding it depends. There's different structures of teams. You have to decide what team works for you. You want a partnership, you want to be the number one person, and then everyone's kind of hiding behind you. You have to decide what team works for you. I personally did not want my name to be attached to my listings because I didn't want to show up all the time. I saw my seniors, 15 years in the business, and they're still a slave to their clients, and they're still a slave to the industry. So that's why I hide behind the Malibu Life team, and I have really great agents that I've handpicked and a great partner that has different expertise than me. She's a land specialist. She knows the city inside and out. She knows the building codes. I don't want to learn it. I don't have time to learn it. Grab someone that does. She's an economics background. We think differently. So I found someone that really complimented me, and then from there structured the team outside and built a really well-rounded team. And that way I can go to a listing appointment with someone, and then I don't ever have to go back to that house, or sometimes they don't see the house at all.
Now, what happens when you have to play the role with the client to be the quote-unquote Madison?
They understand. The role is, I'm Madison. I've designed this team, and I've built this business to operate the way like any other business would. A CEO is not going to sit in on every meeting. I'm not going to sit in on every meeting, but I will get your house sold for top dollar because that's the way my team works. And we're honest and we're ethical about it.
Does anyone on the team, do they ever have a challenge that the head guy is so well known compared to them who are trying to come up through the ranks?
So I don't recommend hiring agents that are competing in your same immediate area. So anyone that's in the Malibu area is not an agent on my team. I have agents that are on the peripheral cities. So Sherman Oaks, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, they live in those communities and are on my team. But yeah, that would be a problem.
And when you went to Pacific Trust, what was that like to leave Coldwell Banker?
It was great, actually. It was interesting because it was when technology and everything was really moving very quickly, and our clients had everything at their disposal on their phones all of a sudden, and they didn't need agents. And DocuSign was, you don't even need an office. So it was like overnight, agents were kind of, the companies weren't able to offer the agents enough information quick enough for me to make myself valuable to a client. And that's when I went to more of a boutique company that could actually take all of the marketing and all of these tasks and really execute them for me, and they did. And that took a huge portion of the time and money that I was spending.
And you became a quote-unquote icon, even though you're just Madison. You became an icon, not even from your show so much, but from when you appeared on $1 Million Matchmaker, right?
Jeez.
That's what did it?
Yeah.
When you became, I was with Madison 2 days before the show aired, and he's talking to his mom and dad in New York about, yeah, well, you're going to see some stuff on the show. And explain how that whole thing happened.
That was just another show I didn't want to do, but
Patty Stringer was your friend.
Yeah, she was my friend, and she wanted to have the first gay episode of setting somebody up. And I kind of got myself into a rock and a hard spot on that one. I said, I'm not doing it the normal way, Patty. That just terrifies me. I don't want to sit in a room in a hotel or a restaurant with 25 guys and be like shopping. That just seems weird. And I don't want to do it, and it's too intimidating. She goes, okay, well, what makes you more comfortable? I'm like, just pick the best, like 3 that you think might be the right fit. Then the day comes, and she goes, okay, we got 3 guys out there. I'm like, what if I don't like any? I was like, oh no, I want 20 now. It was so terrifying, and God has, or my angels have been watching over me, because I walk out and one of the 3 guys, I kid you not, I had just went on a blind date with him that my aunt down in California set me up with. It's her mom's best friend's son, and we just had shared a drink in Beverly Hills, and we were still checking in with each other, and I walk in and there he is. I'm like, I'm picking him no matter what. And I was like, don't say anything to anyone. I'm looking at him like, shh. So we went to Catalina, and it was and I still never told anyone. I didn't tell Patty for 4 years.
Really? That's hilarious.
I'm a good keeper.
That's great. Reality TV ain't reality. Or is reality.
It was reality, but I got lucky.
Okay, and then through that now you clearly have an LGBT following, right?
Yes.
What is that like?
Which I'm grateful for. I mean, you guys went through with my journey with me, and I'm grateful. I mean, it was like a warm hug when I did that No Hate campaign. Finally, I felt accepted into a community, not in the middle of 5 of them, and hated by the one that I called myself polyamorous, and I got attacked by that group. I mean, I just couldn't win. But so ever since, the community's been incredible, and one of my most memorable moments was being the Houston Pride Grand Marshal 5 years ago, which is the 4th largest gay parade in the country. It was amazing and exhilarating, and I was like, I'm home.
Well, you're coming into our home, season 10, November 2nd, 9 p.m.
That's
Eastern.
it. You guys tune in.
On
Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Madison Hildebrand.
Thank you. Thank you, David. All right.
Give it up for David and Madison.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I've been told that we're all taking a 10-minute break before our next speaker. That's in real minutes, not gay minutes.